Welcome to Quick Rip. Big B here with ya. Hope you're doing well out there, fight fans. Hey, we got some MMA news out of Florida coming at us. Surprise, surprise, we've got XFC claiming that they're making their comeback once again here. And they've got XFC 50 scheduled for April 12th in Lakeland, Florida. I believe that's on a Friday, April 12th. And big news here, actually, because they've announced the main event as well as the co-main event already. And I want to talk a little bit about that before I get into the main event and the co-main. I do just want to get a little bit into the XFC here, because take this with a grain of salt. Whatever saying you want to use it, because the XFC has come out and said they're going to have events in the past and then have gone radio silence. Now, from what I understand, they do have new ownership now, and if you look at some of the comments on their social medias when they announced this, they're not very good. The XFC brand is tarnished, in my opinion. Now, I never invested, but it sounds like a lot of people basically got robbed with the previous setup. I don't know. I'll leave that for somebody that knows a little bit more about it. Unfortunate shit there, because the XFC has always been one of my favorite organizations outside of the UFC. With that aside, let's get to some good news here, because main event, they announced that they're going to have a heavyweight main event in Lakeland, Florida. And we're looking at Timothy Johnson. He's taking on Darian Abbey, and many of you may recognize the name Tim Johnson. I mean, UFC, Bellator vet. He's definitely not a name that I would think of when I think of the XFC. That one completely caught me off guard, in a good way. Obviously, that's good shit there. Now, Abby, not real well known. I mean, we got Timothy Johnson, 16-9 overall MMA. Darian Abbey, 4-3. So, I mean, Abbey is on a 2-fight win streak. Both first round finishes. Now, that appeared to be on a regional scene. In my opinion, and my honest opinion, like I always do on this channel, this is a total mismatch on paper. But at the same time, Darian does have a chance here to shock the world. Now, the co-main scheduled for XFC 50, and a little off course here, XFC 50, I'm not sure where that comes from. I'm not sure if the last numbered event with the organization was 49. Absolutely no clue. I started watching the organization during XFCI days, the international days, when they were doing a ton of events over in Brazil. That's when I really started getting into them. So the numbered events are new to me. I'm guessing they're just continuing on from years and years ago. I don't know. I mean, the last event that they put on was in Detroit, and it was an event that was seemingly just thrown together last minute almost. And it was just called XFC Grand Prix, I believe it was. And they really only had a handful of fights in the entire event. So I don't know. Like I say, the XFC 50 kind of throws me for a loop. I'll have to do my research and see what the last numbered event with that organization was. I mean, hopefully it was 49, and then they didn't just pick 50 out of the fucking air. But tangent aside, co-main event, female matchup. Pearl Gonzalez, she's going to take on Monica Medina. Now, Gonzalez is 10-5 MMA. Medina is only 3-4 in MMA. So another one that appears to be a complete mismatch on paper right away. But let's just dive into this one a little bit more, because this is kind of an interesting one here, because Pearl's record really is deceiving. I mean, 10-5 in MMA alone. That's a great record, but that's MMA alone. She also has fights with BKFC, bare knuckle, and of course a couple of glove boxing matches under her belt. So she has a lot more experience than the 10-5 record shows. And Medina is really no different here, because Medina's MMA record, let's be honest, it's not great. 3-4 is not a great record. It's not the side of that margin that you want to be on. You know what I mean? But she does have a ton of experience when you actually dive into her fighting background. I mean, she has fought bare knuckle for BYB and has a massive amount of amateur fights under her belt. So realistically, the 3-4 record is extremely deceiving, as is Pearl's. But Pearl Gonzalez, former UFC, as I mentioned, BKFC, super hottie out there. That was another one that just threw me for a complete loop when they announced that. I'm like, really? That's another name that I would never associate with XFC. But I'm assuming that Tim Johnson and Pearl Gonzalez got an offer they just couldn't refuse here, or something along those lines. Hopefully this actually comes together, and we do get an event in April for the XFC. It sounds like they're operating now fully out of Florida, so the Detroit and Michigan days of the XFC are behind us from what I can tell, which isn't bad. I mean, if they can get their shit together, and they just got to continue to put on events and try and keep business going. None of these sporadic events, once every couple of years, all of a sudden they pop up and, hey guys, we're doing an event. I was like, well, that's not going to keep people's interest, right? Bringing in some names like this will get them some eyeballs, but anyway, that's all we have for now. They've only announced the main event, the co-main event. Keep her glued here to Bowls, Beers, and Brawls. Subscribe if you haven't. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's get her rocking, because XFC is back, baby. Hopefully it's a good show. I'm looking forward to it. Anytime XFC is coming back, I'm pumped. As I say, just purely as an MMA fan, nothing to do with investments or anything like that, thankfully. But we'll see. We'll see who else fills out the card, how many fights they're actually going to have, and let's see where this thing goes. That's it for now, though. Thanks for joining me here on Bowls, Beers, and Brawls. Till next time, everybody, take care and peace. I think the trip from all over the place.